What do you get when you combine The Sims with Animal Crossing? A charming little hotel simulator with unique and fun characters. Well, like I mentioned in my previous video, this game was also developed by Amaze Entertainment, and you can see it in some areas. For instance, the intro is very similar, and one or two music tracks made in this game were reused for the PSP game. Before I continue, I want to make it clear that I played all of this on an emulator, and that's why the graphics look a bit better, and also why the game lags in certain areas, so some bugs might be caused by that. Just like the PSP game, the DS version has your car breaking down in Strange Town, and again, there's someone there to fix it for you. This man's name is Jebediah, and while he's fixing it for you, he suggests that you go into the hotel. But when you enter the hotel, there's no power, and the man behind the front desk says that his boss has run away. He asks us to restock the hotel's furnace. Don't worry about getting lost though, because there's a literal crumb trail of nuclear fission rods. And when you get there, it's a fucking nuclear reactor. Why the fuck does a hotel need this much fucking power? Once I've refueled the reactor, I return to the concierge and he thanks me and also explains that the reactor will take a maximum of 6 fuel rods, which each power the hotel for 3 days. He then also gives me a mysterious note, which reads, "There's a reason for everything, Harmony. The sun shines, the earth spins, and smart people like you run hotels. Good luck. The citizens of Strange Town need your help." I guess that means I'm forced to run a hotel. Interestingly, the fact that this game is a hotel manager simulator is a little bit more upfront in the Japanese version, as it has the subtitle Hachamecha Hoteru Raifu, or in English, that would be something like Absurd Hotel Life. After I'm done reading that note, the guy that was fixing my car comes in and says that the hotel is essentially a shithole, and then they want me to start hoovering. So on top of being the new manager, they also want me to be the caretaker. The vacuum's pretty simple to use, you just select it from the pockets menu, and then any dust pile you walk over will be sucked up inside, and occasionally there are like items in there, like a ring or some chewing gum, that can get you a little bit of money. After some cleaning up, the town's mayor enters the hotel. He's immediately hostile and he wants to know where the previous hotel's manager's gone. He explains that the town's economy will be in shambles without a hotel, since the town relies solely on tourism. Luckily, Mama Hog steps in and advises me to restrain the mayor, as when he's emotional like this, there's no other way of dealing with him. This is the first social minigame that we encounter in the game. It's not too dissimilar from the PSP social minigames, although it is a lot simpler. In the PSP minigame, you have to match up symbols that are slightly related to each other, whereas in this one, you only get 3 options and it's related to this specific animation that the NPC plays. After bringing the mayor to his senses, he asks if you can take over the hotel and run it from now on. He wants you to turn it into a world-class palace of leisure. The concierge butts in and suggests a whole load of improvements to the hotel, but then Mama Hog simply says we should start with a casino. To start upgrading the hotel, I need to find the town's handyman, Tristan Legend, but before I do that, the mayor wants to show me where I'll be staying. The mayor leads me into the manager's suite. This is your own place to decorate as you like, but that's furniture only. There's no modifying walls or floors here. He even introduces the stat panel that displays your Sims attributes and the info on the hotel. He also says I smell.
Uh-oh, stinky.
Right, on to finding Tristan Legend. Mama Hog said he's probably in the desert, so I'll check there first, and sure enough, here he is. But when I find him, he's moping about his loneliness in an oddly poetic way. This is the game's introduction to the Cheer Up minigame. It's the same as the Restrain minigame, there's just different animations and response options. Well, after cheering him up, he agrees to build a casino for the hotel, but tells me that I'll first need to buy a permit from City Hall to start. After buying the permit, I go back to the hotel and Tristan stops me in the lobby, and he lets me know that I finished the casino, so I follow him over there, and before I can check it out properly, aliens had literally invaded. In the hotel lobby, you meet Emperor Zizzle, who has apparently been trying to take over Strange Town for years. Luckily for me, he's weak to water, and Tristan lets me know that I can buy a Super Soaker from Giuseppe, who's outside the hotel. After buying the 250 simoleon Super Soaker, I test it out on Emperor Zizzle and it works perfectly. It's operated through the touchscreen. You even need to pump. Once I've dealt with Zizzle, all the town's residents come into the hotel and congratulate me on saving the day, and after being awarded 1,000 simoleons from the mayor, they name me the new manager of the hotel. Shortly after, I receive another mysterious note telling me that I need to get 100%. Perfect. After some time passes, you get a call from a man named Frankie Fusilli. He's a pretty obvious mob boss stereotype. He wants to stay in the hotel and he won't accept anything less than the most luxurious room. So naturally he stays in the penthouse. He won't take no for an answer and makes threats about the building possibly falling over and legs being broken. After this interaction, the game's background music changes from his mob boss theme to a more creepy theme, which helps set the mood of what just happened. When I go to see him, he wants me to give him some money so that his cousin, Jimmy the Neck, can visit. No, I'm not having a stroke, that's how it's fucking written. He wants 1k from me. After begrudgingly giving him the 1,000 simoleons, he thanks me and I leave, but shortly after, he calls me right back. This is a common theme with him. He'll blow up your mobile. And this time, he wants me to give the mayor a present from him. It's a stuffed cow head. I'm sure it's fine and there's nothing to worry about. Shortly after I let the mob boss know that I've handed the gift over, I get a phone call from the mayor telling me that his office is on fire and he urgently needs me to come and help. When I arrive to City Hall, sure enough, there's a fire. Since I don't have a fire extinguisher, I guess my water gun would have to do. After calming down the mayor, he says that he's sure that the cow head was some sort of bomb, and that he'll be keeping a close eye on the mob boss, just in case he needs to call him back up. I decided to go back to Frankie Fusilli, and now he wants me to increase the hotel score to 20%. Now is probably a good time to talk about some of the game's mechanics. First of all, let's look at the hotel score. The only way to increase your hotel score is by building new rooms, and unlike the casino, all subsequent rooms take a real life 8 hours to complete. There's no speeding this up unless you change the system time. The higher your hotel score, the more your guests will pay when checking out, and I also believe you'll have access to more of the guests in the game. While some of the rooms are being built, let's explore the town. There's a shop that sells furniture, scratch cards, and occasionally some quest items. The character behind the till is Johnny Smith, who you may remember from the PC game. He, along with Tank Grunt, are the only PC characters found in the game. Moving along, there's a saloon owned by Mama Hog. You can buy food here and sell gourds that you find laying around. Next is the City Hall. You can normally find Mayor Jackson here. Like I said before, it's a place where you can buy building permits. You can even sell fuel rods here. Speaking of Mayor Jackson, later on in the game, he'll vanish due to a bug, but if you have an action replay, or are using an emulator, you can enter a cheat that will re-add him to the game. I've had a graphical bug doing this though. The last building in the town, apart from the hotel of course, is the town jail. There's not much here really, except for the sheriff. You can sell number plates that you find around the town to him, and that's about it really. There's also a field with cows in it that you can milk or tip. Remember earlier when the mayor told me that I stink? Well, you might be thinking that this game has some form of need system, but you'd be disappointed because it's almost entirely absent. There might be some sort of system hiding in the background, but all the game displays to you is a sanity bar, and you can refill it doing almost anything. Occasionally, you'll get an animation that hints at an upcoming need, like being hungry or feeling sleepy. These are very annoying because they lock you into place. The only saving grace is that if you're, say, hungry, then you only need to eat one meal and you don't have to worry about it for a while. The best way to refill the sanity bar is by beating your meat. No, seriously, punch some meat in the freezer and then you're good to go. Also, remember skills? This game has them too, but they're pretty shallow. The only way to increase them is by finding items that are floating around the town. They spawn based on the time and day. The skills barely do anything. They might help with social minigames or earn you a little bit of money, but it's really negligible. One of the skills is required to complete the game, but I'll cover that later on. Right, after waiting a day, let's continue with the story. Now that my hotel score is higher, Frankie has another mission for me. He wants me to build a vault so he can store his valuables. I have to wait another 8 hours for that to be built too. I'll save you the 8 hours and skip ahead. Well, I decide to check the vault before talking to Frankie and see this pile of money. I go to take some, but then this giant guy comes in and stops me. Then I wake up in my suite. I guess that was Jimmy the Neck. When I get back to Frankie, he wants me to do even more things for him. This time, he wants me to go and get a metal detector so I can find bars for him in the desert. Well, that's our next item. The metal detector. It can only be used in the desert, and obviously it's used to collect metal bars. Well, after bringing 3 bars back to him, he sends me straight back to the desert, and now he wants me to bury something for him. But it's some weird wriggling chest. I'm sure it's nothing, right? Well, there's a catch. He wants me to do this at night time. If I try and do this during the day, I get stopped by one of his henchmen. I guess I'll have to wait a few hours then. After doing something else for a few hours, I go back to the desert to bury the box, and before I can bury it, I get stopped by someone named Penelope Red. She claims to be a special agent, and she wants to know what's in the box, but I have literally no idea. She says that means I can't be charged as an accomplice. I'm not sure that'd stand up in court, but this is a Sims game, so I'm just gonna roll with it. She says she's been tracking me for a few days, so I guess that means she's the backup the mayor mentioned. Well, regardless, she confiscates the wriggling box and the shovel that I just bought as evidence. When I get back to Frankie, he's none the wiser that his plans are being disrupted. Next in the town square, who do I see but Penelope Red? And now she wants me to wear a fucking wire. The next time I see Frankie, he's furious, and after calming him down, he lets slip that he's been laundering money in Strangetown, and as soon as he admits this, Special Agent Penelope bursts in and arrests him, even though he was money laundering. At least I got paid in the end for his stay. As soon as I leave the penthouse to go to the lobby, there's this goth girl called Avracadabra. She moves into the penthouse too, just like the mob boss, but unlike Frankie, she doesn't come off as hostile at all. But having her own theme and the same creepy music playing after the cutscene immediately tells you that she's the next antagonist. Another similarity that she shares with the previous tenant is that she wants me to complete tasks for her. She wants some type of meeting hall built. It's for her totally not a cult company, and she tells me it's for a yoga party. But hey wait, when I go to the city hall to buy the permit, it's clearly labelled as Bovine Shrine. Bovine. You don't think? I'm sure it's nothing. She's quick to book it out indefinitely and makes some joke about taking over the town, which I'm sure it's just a joke. When I check in on her in the conference room, no, it's totally a shrine. She's chanting something about the Prime Heifer. If you watched my Sims 2 PSP video, you know exactly who the Prime Heifer is. I should have known better. And now she wants me to get her a cowbell? I feel like I shouldn't, but my hotel manager oath means that I must. If you squirt water on one of the people around the cow idol, you can get some extra dialogue. Well, the only place I can think of that would have a cowbell would be from one of the cows in the field, and sure enough, one of their bells is completely fine. I'm not sure why she needed one though. But anyway, now she wants me to find some rotting eggplant coloured lipstick. As usual, I easily find it in the local store, and it's the only lipstick they ever sell, and it's just this one, just this once. After giving her the lipstick, she's thankful, but when I check in on her later, she's angry and going on about how the whole town is self-centered, plus something about joining some herd. She's also insisting that all the people in the shrine are there of their own free will, and I kinda doubt that. After some time, I get a phone call from an unknown number warning me about dark forces gathering at the hotel, and I'm told to seek out a secret entrance in the desert at night. Luckily, it's already nighttime, so I just go straight there. It's not difficult to find at all. It's a tiny pyramid just floating there, and when I interact with it, the ghost of the mummy just pops out. He is Horus Amenhotep the Ninth, and he senses a great evil spreading over this land, an evil which has not been seen for millennia. He agrees to help me defeat the Prime Heifer if I return him to his corporeal form. To do this, I need to find his sarcophagus, which is conveniently buried at the back of the oasis, and then place it somewhere only I have access to. I placed it in my manager's suite, and while it doesn't fit the rest of the room, I suppose it'll have to do. As soon as I finish placing it, he emerges from within and tells me that I need to find the branding iron of utter destruction. Supposedly a local stole it many years ago, and after asking all the locals I can think of, I eventually find it myself in the town jail, right beside the sheriff's desk. I believe Jebediah is supposed to tell you where it is, but he was booked out for me and supposedly in the Bovine Shrine, but I couldn't find him anywhere in there. Now that I have the branding iron, Horace wants me to use it on the Prime Heifer icon to prevent his materialization. After branding an over-important cow, Ava isn't too pleased with me and storms off out of the hotel. That's her dealt with then. Except apparently she vandalized the penthouse. It looks exactly the same, but okay, I guess. At least there's a robot here to help sort out the imaginary broken thing. All he wants is a Galvatronic power recharger. Well, that's not too unreasonable. Plus he seems nice. So I'm sure there's no way there'll be any issues with this. Just as I'm about to leave the penthouse, I get a call from Tristan, and he wants to show me something. You probably aren't ready for this. So on top of being forced to run a hotel, now Tristan wants me to take up the mantle of a fucking superhero. He is passing down the role of the Raticator to me. This adds another level to the game. You now have the ability to beat up aliens and criminals that attack the town and literally arrest them. Unfortunately, because I was playing this emulated on the PC, anytime any aliens or criminals spawned, the game would lag. So it wasn't really pleasant to play. Not to mention the controls being awkward, but on the actual DS, the controls are perfectly fine. When I returned to Optimum Alfred with a power recharger, I arrived just as he's finished cleaning the apartment, and it looks exactly the same. But he also wants to upgrade it to modern standards, whatever that would mean. And when I leave and come back to the penthouse, he wants me to give him something else to do because he's bored. That's kind of odd. I didn't know robots got bored. But anyway, he agrees to check the wiring in the hotel, but he needs 20 fuel rods to do it. And I don't have 20 fuel rods because I've been selling my excess to the town hall to get some extra simoleons. So I have to do that tomorrow. When I finally give him the fuel rods, he goes a bit apeshit. Maybe this was a mistake, but now he's going on about wanting to install some satellite dish to the hotel so he can watch television. Except I supposedly have a mole infestation now. Sure enough, when I go up there, I see a literal mole man. He's named Lord Mole, and he's chewing on the wires. He doesn't last very long against my Super Soaker though. I'm not sure what his problem is, but at least we can watch TV now. As soon as I get back to the hotel lobby, Optimum Alfred reveals its true colours, and only one hero can save the day. He isn't too happy to have his minions defeated so easily. After his tantrum, Emperor Zizzle arrives on the scene and offers to help you. He says that the robot's antenna has been messing with his communications home, and he needs me to sneak into the penthouse and steal the blueprints so that we can work on destroying it. Unfortunately, you need mechanics level 5 to hack into the elevator door to gain access. Plus you need to do this at a specific time of the day as well to add insult to injury. It was at this point in the game that I just gave up on trying to play it legitimately. And instead I changed the time on my PC so that I could get the mechanics skill point pickups, and after that I set my time back to the actual time, and the game wasn't too happy about this.
Hey.
Yeah, that's right. The DS game has a anti-cheat. It starts an alien invasion every time that you change your clock time. After getting the required mechanics level, I hacked into the penthouse and got the blueprints without any issues. I handed them over to Zizzle, which Optimum Alfred wasn't too pleased about. After a while, Emperor Zizzle decided that the best way to deal with the antenna would be to destroy it, as it wasn't able to be hacked. He gave me a potion so I can smash it. But the first time I did this, the same aliens that wanted me to help them abducted me and caused my game to softlock. I managed to complete the mission after reloading though. Now, all that's left to do is to defeat Optimum Alfred. I didn't think I'd have to say this, but the final section of this Sims 2 game is a boss battle. After defeating the evil robot, you get a creepy FMV, an apology from Optimum Alfred, and if you 100%ed the hotel, you even get a note congratulating you. You can keep running the hotel after this, but honestly the actual hotel management feels pretty hollow. Occasionally guests will ring you and say, "Hey, I locked myself in the freezer, come help me out," but once you've unlocked all the rooms and completed the story, there isn't really much else left to do. Some of the rooms have interesting features, like there's an alien dissection game or an art gallery where you can draw your own pictures, but it doesn't really feel compelling enough to me to keep playing. It lacks something that Animal Crossing has, and I think it's that you don't really form any sort of connection with your guests like you would with your villagers. You can keep socializing with them and eventually unlocking secrets, but I didn't actually ever get that far with them. In Animal Crossing, villagers will talk to you about their hobbies and even ask you like what a cool catchphrase would be. Your guests, on the other hand, can't really be spoken to much, apart from the Impress minigame, which, you know, doesn't really seem to do much, and their odd jobs they give you can be a little annoying. It's such a shame because the characters had so much potential. The sea captain has a really cool design, but he never really talks to you about any sea captain things. Personally, I think the game could have done with more development time, although after a little research, I did see that the DS and GBA games were released on the same date. So it's possible that the people in the dev team were stretched out across both games. From what I remember, the GBA game had a little bit more heart and soul in it. I'll possibly talk about that in the future though. Enough of all the negative stuff, let's talk about the music. It's complete and utter gold. Enemy fight music, character themes, location themes, you can even make your own. While I found the PSP soundtrack kinda lacking, the DS game is really carried by the soundtrack. Different areas of the game are given their own identity, with specific tracks. The western sounding track in the sheriff's office is probably one of the most memorable to me. Or it could be the Manager's Suite song. It shares a lot of tracks with the GBA version. You can set the song for pretty much most rooms in the game too, which gives you a little bit more control in the feel of the rooms. The alien theme used to freak me out as a child, so I changed the government lab theme to something a little bit less scary. It's an interesting game, and it's good that they tried something different here with the Sims 2 formula, but I don't really think it stuck this time. I do remember enjoying the game a lot more as a child though, so it could just be that I'm a little bit too familiar with the game to truly appreciate what it has.